It's been a 14% year-on-year growth when it comes to Maruti sales or Maruti Suzuki's auto sales numbers. Shashank Srivastava is now joining us. Thank you so much for taking time out. Let's begin by talking about how the festive season has been. What were your Onam sales like, and what's the expectations now?
The Onam festival in Kerala, which started from 17th of August. We had the Onam, that's the start of the Chingam month, and the Onam, which was celebrated day before yesterday. This period saw a growth of about 24% in retails, as also in the booking. So that's a great beginning, I would say, because the festive period in India starts from the 17th of August with the advent of the Chingam month in Kerala. Then later it goes on to the Ganesh Chaturthi, Janmashtami in the western part, and the northern part of the country. During the Navratras, we have Gujarat and Bengal as the main areas, and then Diwali, Dhanteras, and Baidu in the north and central part of our country. So generally speaking, the festive season gives you about 23 to 26% of the annual sales of any financial year, statistically that is. And this year it's expected that the sale in the industry annual volume will be about 41 lakh. That means you can expect a sale of 1 million units, 10 lakh units in the festive season. So the beginning has been good, and we are hoping that this trend of the strong demand would continue going forward. On your question of which model, well, we're seeing a lot of traction on the SUV and MPV front.
Sure. Shashank, inventory levels, they've been a concern for you, right? Especially in the PV segment. We understand that inventory is at a 4-year high, and this is something you indicated to us in our last interaction with you. Will you be giving them more discounts to sell the old or legacy models?
So if you look at the inventory level, end of August, the inventory levels estimated to be around 311,000. And you are right, this level of inventory has been first time we are seeing after 4 years. Previous high inventory of this level was in September of 2019. That's 4 years back. But obviously the volume levels are now different. The volume levels the retail for August was 343,000. By that calculation, it is still just under 30 days of stock. Now, 30 days of stock is not really abnormal. So if you look at the absolute inventory, it does seem high. But when you look at it in terms of the number of days of inventory, that is obviously dependent on the sale trends, that doesn't seem to be an issue. As regards your question about discount, that is a function of the demand against the supply of vehicles against the underlying demand. Now, if the supply is more than the demand, generally you see some level of discounting. And we have seen that in the small cars because we have been producing small cars in larger numbers compared with what the demand is. However, with the increased availability of production in other models as well, because of the semiconductor supplies getting better, we have been able to modulate the production for, in other words, the availability supply against these models. I don't expect, therefore, that in the coming few months you'll see higher levels of discount. I think they would remain basically at the same level.
So the question is, where does your overall order book stand currently, and what is the outlook, given that the expectations are that it could be a strong festive season?
So the order book at the moment for Maruti Suzuki is about 302,000. Industry estimates, and they are estimates for the industry, or Maruti numbers we know, but is roughly around the 600,000 numbers. Still pretty large, but as I said, with increased production, with better availability of semiconductor component, we hope that we'll be able to reduce this number and try to bring down the waiting periods for our consumers. Going forward, I would expect, obviously, the market seems to be good. We are looking at the 5 to 7% overall numbers in the year, going up to 4.1 million. That is 41 lakhs over last year's number of about 3.89 million. So that's the number we are looking at. We obviously there are factors which can impact this negatively as well, and those are the inflation rate and the monsoon patterns, which could disturb the strong numbers that we are expecting.
Right. So when it comes to small car segment, especially for the hatchback entry segment, are we seeing any change in the sentiment now on ground?
So generally speaking, during this period of festive, you do see an uptick in the small car numbers. In fact, while those seasonal factors might be there, generally speaking, if you look at the data across the years over the last few years, there has been decline in the overall volumes as well as the contribution of this segment to the overall sales. Used to be 45-46% a few years back, now about 34% last year, and now this year about 30.5%. And that is largely because of the affordability factor coming down. Otherwise, in terms of demographics, I believe within growing economy, you would see a growing transportation requirement, which should push up the demand for the among the first-time buyers for this segment. And but because the affordability factor, largely because of the increased prices and the high elasticity of demand in this segment, we are seeing a decline. We are projecting this year not much increase in this segment, and we are projecting that it would be around the 30-31% of the overall sales of the industry from the 34% that it was last year.
Thanks, Shashank, for taking time out. Good to have you on board.